Okay, y'all. So for this video, we are going to talk about basic operations in Python. This is your simple kind of math operations that you might be familiar with from school. I'm going to use the print method that we talked about in a previous video to kind of print some stuff. Remember, you can always type just like print and then anything you want here. And then let's go ahead and right click and run. And it prints to the terminal. So we're going to use print to discuss the arithmetic operators. The first is just the plus sign, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I'm going to do 2 plus 3, 5 plus 100, and this should return what we expect, 5 and 105. For subtraction, let's go ahead and do 10 minus 5. And for a negative number, maybe do 5 minus 10. Let's see what that gives us. I'm going to delete these. Run it. 5 and negative 5 as we expect. And negative 5 is an integer because it doesn't have a decimal. It's not a float. It's an integer. Integers can be negative. Let's go ahead and do multiplication. So let's do 10 times 2. 20, and this is using the asterisk. What happens if we do 10 divided by 2? Should return 5, correct? And it returns 5.0. Now this is just a Python thing. It always is going to return, the division operator is always going to return a float. And that's just a decision that they made, and it is part of programming in Python. Something you have to remember, because normally when we divide an integer by an integer, it's going to be it's going to return an integer and perform any arithmetic operation on an integer, and it will try to return an integer whenever it can, but it can't always do that. So but anyway, so sorry, with the division operator, it's always going to return a float. Now, if you do want it to round, this is called a floor division, which means it rounds down to the nearest integer. That's with 2 slashes, and as you can see, it rounded down to a 3. And you can do that with anything. 10 divided by 6, what would that be? I think it's 1, right? Yeah. 10 divided by 4 rounds down to 2. Cool. So that is a floor division. Now, a modulus is something that is in a lot of programming languages. You can think of this as like giving you a remainder. So if you remember dividing, like long division in school, you might you might get a remainder off the long division problem. So for example, if we did 10 divided by 3, that doesn't actually divide evenly. 3 goes into 10 3 times, and there's a remainder of 1. So the modulus will actually return just the remainder. And this is often used for determining whether something is even or odd. If we modulus 2, we can always determine if something is even, because 2 is always going to go into an even number and return an even number, or an even number of times, and then it's going to return 0 as a remainder. And then the last but not least is the double asterisk. Now this is exponentiation, as in 10 to the second power. So 10 to the second power is going to be 100. As you know, it's a fancy way of saying 10 times 10. 10 times 10 times 10, which is to the third power, is going to be 1000. So that is exponentiation. And you can also do let's see, you can do 0.5, which is 10 to the half power, in other words, a square root, and it does give you those things. So those are the arithmetic operations, and it does go by PEMDAS, the order of operations. That is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So that is operations in Python.